And now it's time for Deep Comic Book Thoughts. September is a time of Zen reflection with friends and the art of motorcycle maintenance. Oh, that's so fucking lame. So I did a naughty thing today. I went and bought a Steven Wilson concert ticket for next week at the Wiltern, and that's going to cause me to come up with my rent late. I got a $25 late fee, but I didn't want to take any chances and buy a ticket the last minute. It's next Wednesday, and I get paid on Tuesday night. I mean, I could have swing it, but who knows if there would already be any tickets left around. But it'll be worth it. So a couple of things that have been bugging me in the comic book industry of late. This blind bag bullshit with DC Comics releasing the first issue of Batman of the new series #1, which should be in my my pull box next week when I go and pick up my stuff. The day after I see Steven Wilson. I'm kind of perplexed to why why DC is doing what they're doing, releasing the first issue of a new Batman series before they concluded the previous series, which I believe has 2 issues to go. The Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb Hush 2. Supposed to be run 6 chapters. I left off at number 4, wondering where it's going to be going, and I don't feel like talking about it until I read the whole thing. But the blind bag thing with the whole brouhaha of selling the book before the street date, or retailers selling the street before the street. See, the comic books come in a week before. With this whole new distribution stuff with Penguin and Lunar and all that stuff, the comics will come in a week earlier for the retailers to sort through them and put them in the pull boxes, rather than like 2 years before. You know, when I was managing a store in North Hollywood, Rookies and All Stars, which the site of Valley Plaza where it was located is cited for demolition because of all the crazy homelessness and it's going on over there. Me and Dan Hunt, are my mentor manager, we would go down to Hawthorne and pick up the books the day that you know the books were supposed to be released. So every Wednesday morning it would be a drive down to Hawthorne to the Diamond warehouse to pick up the books, bring them up to the store, and put them out in time, like 6 o'clock or so, or maybe 4. Actually, even earlier than that. I mean, 2 o'clock or so. Our books will be ready. Now it's like they get the books earlier, and when you're picking up your books, you see the stocks, the books stacked in the back of the store, and you can see the covers and everything, and but you're not allowed to buy them. For some reason, retailers broke that rule, and they sold these blind bag things of Batman #1, and some guy, two people, they got a hold of a gold edition of this thing, and they're selling them for crazy prices on eBay for like $1,300. It's crazy, man, for a book that's not even officially released yet. That is the nuttiest thing. Another thing that's got me hot and bothered is over at Dragon Con in Atlanta, some guy got ejected from the convention for selling AI art, and that brings me to some dilemma that I'm facing lately, because I was about to have a sit down with my editor per se, or agent, whatever I call it, Sparky Santos, who's been my friend for like, wow, I mean, for 20, 30 years now. And I would have a conversation about this comic strip idea we were going to do. It's sort of like a homage to King's Features syndicate characters, and I got the names of the characters, but I don't have an artist to design them. So I was going to propose the idea to Sparky, you see, have maybe AI design the characters and then hand them off to an artist to do them. And now I with this guy getting ejected from a comic convention for selling AI generated art, is now it makes me wonder if this is the right direction to take. So anywho, that's I guess that's a tale for another time. Well, when the problem arises, when I get to it, I'm sure I'm able to figure something out. So this is going to be sort of a looking at some recent series I've been reading in my Independence box queue. I've been telling people I wanted to do this, or telling you YouTube audience of my 33 subscribers or so, that I wanted to tackle this this gorgeous book called Godzilla's Monsterpiece Theater, and this is quite the read here. Let me go down here. I really love this. I gotta start getting all this guy's stuff. I mean, even the Fantastic Four and X-Men Grand Designs books he's done. And I first heard of him through first time my exposure to Tom Scioli's work was in the Jack Kirby biography he did a couple years back. Through a free comic book day edition, and the following year he did one on Stan Lee, and the two different diverse styles he does them in, and this awesome. I mean, probably one of the best Godzilla stories you'll ever read in the history. And I got chocolate for IDW. They came up with a winner in this one. I'm not a big fan of this company, and it's a really unique story. It all deals around with the Great Gatsby. He's sort of the hero in this story, where he's forced to fight Godzilla after his house in Long Island gets destroyed, and before he can pop the question to his fiancée. And this sort of motivates him to take on Godzilla with the help of some legendary early 19th century heroes, like the Time Machine from A.G. Wells. Sherlock Holmes is included, and this guy is supposed to be Dracula. He figures in this book too, and you can see the beautiful art in here there's a whole bunch of other people in that show up for like here's Godzilla emerging off the Long Island Sound, and sets his whole place on fire. And Thomas Edison pops in. So Gatsby is determined to seek help from other 19th century heroes, and Thomas Edison says, fuck off. And Godzilla then attacks New York City, particularly Manhattan. And look at this, that's something, man. That is, and it's the Godzilla just rips a subway car and just destroys it. And you know, I'm just flipping through the pages here. I shouldn't share. And Jay Gatsby, all decked out like Doc Savage. That's a Doc Savage post from, you know, if you've seen the Doc Savage movie poster with Ron Eli, that's exactly the same pose he has in the poster. I thought that was cute. I don't know what the cat's all about. But this is a wonderful book. This is out in trade paperback right now for like, I think $22 or so. And I really recommend you ordering this book. And we have Jules Verne from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. He's there, in there, and that brings up something, a sidebar. There's a series, Australian series called Nautilus, which is it's available on AMC Plus, but it was supposed to be originally made for Disney Plus, and Disney just clipped it, and the makers and producers were forced to shop it somewhere else. And at first it was Amazon who was going to carry it, and I would have had a clear shot of seeing that series on there, but AMC came in and swiped it, and it's on their service, and I don't have AMC Plus. So I guess my best bet to see that series would be to wait for it comes on Blu-ray or DVDs. Only 12 episodes have been made in it. And what's her name is in it for a couple episodes. Anna Torv from Fringe is in that series. There's the first appearance of Dracula. And you can't go wrong with something like this. I mean, look at this. This is astounding. Look at that. That just blows my mind. But yeah, I mean, it's a 3-issue series. I thought it was 4. And I was screaming at the comic store, there's gotta be a 4th one. These things always come in 4s, but luckily it's just 3 issues, and the ending is quite astounding. I mean, the ending is the 3rd issue it features all like the Universal monsters fighting Godzilla, and it's a big, huge monster brawl at the end with Universal monsters, and you know, if you're buying this book, the trade paperback, I don't want to blow it for you, but what a fun read. I would pay more for the trade paperback if I didn't have any recourse but to get the whole series. Exo Manowar is the last of the Alien books, Valiant/Alien books. Well, I have a few other ones to read too, but I think this is the last thing they did with Exo Manowar. Exo Manowar, I think, is now over IDW. Will be putting it out through the auspices of IDW, rather. This was a fun tale. Exo Manowar fights some kind of Earth sorceress in this story. It's only a one-shot story. She's one of the Psy Lords, I think. Sadly, this is something I had to let go due to the budget constraints, and this was the 5th and final. Yeah, this is the final issue of this miniseries, the Gargoyle's Quest, written by the series creator Greg Weisman. Used to be my Facebook friend, but for some reason he deleted me. Maybe because I was tagging him too much in cartoons I was watching. Dick Tracy. I happened to catch up on some Dick Tracy, and I got 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, and these comprise of one big storyline, a revamp of the blank character who, you know, was, if you've seen the movie, she was portrayed by Madonna in that 1990 Warren Beatty mess, which was fun at the time, but a couple rewatches, you know, it kind of, you can see the budget shine through on those, but the blank turns out to be someone different, other than Breathless Mahoney, Madonna played. It's good. I mean, it's this Dick Tracy is more for mature adult readers than for kids. There's some swearing in it, and some sexual innuendo in it, you know. And in the 11th issue, I think maybe a few weeks ago, it starts a whole new storyline of him going undercover. Let me see. My memory is faulty. Oh, let's see. It reveals that Dick Tracy fought in World War I. Or was it World War II? On some reason. What's the gist of the story? If you just flip through it, it'll come back to me. One of Dick Tracy's old friends from the war recruits him to for some secret mission, and and it deals with the sisters, Summer sisters, yeah, and I guess they're old. They're old from the old Rogues Gallery, and Dick Tracy is framed for murder, and Dick Tracy and Tess get down and dirty in it, and this is the issue that will be coming out next, and I think it comes out this month. We'll see. Mad Cave. I think Mad Cave keeps much to a sturdy schedule. Releasing books. I'm really looking forward to the Phantom coming out this month. Let's see. I was catching up on some EC, and I got read this Christmas thing a couple nights ago. It was a big one, big issue. It was like, how much was this? Yeah, $8, $7.99. There's some. I'm trying to see. The narrator, this crazy, stay-at-home mom, reading these horror stories to these kids, and right there, that ought to be a ticket to the loony bin right there. And she narrates these various stories, and I'm trying to think which one I like the best. I kind of not dozed off reading this one late on a Monday night when I had to get up at 5:30 in the morning to go to work the next morning. That's what I should be doing. Is there anything that stands out in this one? I should reread some of these. I kind of lost track of what they were. Red as My Blood. Oh, okay. I do remember this one. It's a retelling of the Curse of the Magi. This is a retelling of the Gift of the Magi, and it's got a little twist to it. You know the story. The husband and wife who can't afford to buy them each other's Christmas gifts, and so they have to sacrifice something, and it ends in a bloody mess. The last story is focuses on the crazy stay-at-home mom narrator and her killing Santa Claus. And there's a classic Johnny Craig story in here, and which was probably the best one in the entire book. You can't turn out an old EC horror story. Another these EC books are now done by Oni Press, and I love them all. The great quality books. And why do I only have 3 of them? There's supposed to be 4 of them. Well, anyway. Oh, there you go. Okay, Cruel Kingdom. Cruel Kingdom #1. And these are done in the vein of all the old DC Comics anthologies. And the first issue story was a real winner. Really loved it. And there's another one I really love too that I've talked about before for Free Comic Book Day. There's one of these stories was reprinted in Free Comic Book Day, and it's the Blood of the Robo King, the 2 vying kingdoms fighting each other, and one happens to throw a robot into the mix. I don't know how the robots were made back in the 14th century, but it was a great story. And who wrote this story? Greg Pak. And the artist was Leo Max. Okay. And all the stories are great in this book, but this is a standout. It was a great standout. Another story was this take on Snow White and 7 Dwarfs after all the dwarfs have died. And Snow White is being kissed out of her trance or stupor, whatever, the evil queen or the Maleficent? Is that her name? So this is the twist. The last of the dwarfs doesn't want to let Snow White go. So he goes and gets the old pickaxe and smacks the prince into submission. And unfortunately, this ends with the dwarf being condemned for life, and a good time is had by all. There's a 4-issue series, not like the other ones, like Epitaph from the Abyss, which I still have the last 4 issues in the queue to read, and Cruel Universe is the other one, and I believe there's another one that's came out called Catacomb of Torment. Catacomb of Torment, not Torrent. The covers are lovely. Let me see. Who wrote these stories? Chris Condon. Hammer Witches, Seed of Power. There's only 3 tales in this one. Hammer Witches was pretty good. Rare Immunity. What was this one about? This was a good one too. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. This story's a good one. This guy, this king or a swordsman. He gets this. It's sort of like a Elric or Celeborn type of enchanted sword, and it's a curse's sword, and he finds out he's indestructible. He becomes indestructible with it, and nothing can kill him. And he goes through battle after battle after battle, and all these, hacked and arrows flown into him. And I don't want to blow the ending for you. Let me just pause that. Hammer Witches. This was a witch tale, and which has a twist to it. And the third story, The Seed of Power, something to do with poisoning and usurping thrones and stuff like that, and that has a real twist of an ending too. But you get the general gist of it. I think this has been collected in trade paperback recently. So we get to our last book I read in the queue, and I still have 2 issues left to do tonight. And Dynamite's Entertainment's unbelievable, remarkable adaptation of Space Ghost by David Pepose and Jonathan Lau. I think this is up for, or did they win an award? Did they win a Eisner? I'm not certain, but it's remarkable. There's never been like I've never seen Space Ghost like this before, except for the series that DC did back, going back to 2005 or 2006. Alex Ross did all the covers, and it did an origin story of Space Ghost. Yeah, this Dynamite did an origin story, but it's slightly different. They really delve into the past of Jan and Jace. And they come from a family of scientists that got killed. There's the classic villains are reimagined and more and not ridiculous looking as you see them on the Hanna-Barbera original Hanna-Barbera show or Space Ghost Coast to Coast, but really really full on realism injected into the villains. Metalis has always been menacing, even in his cartoon form, but Space Ghost has never looked insane. The only thing I have some qualms about is Jan and Jace's the masks on them. I mean, I don't know if they're supposed to be like Lone Ranger masks or something. Look like they're like they're Lone Ranger siblings rather than Space Ghost siblings. Just like a thin little like Robin type mask would have worked. But they're rambunctious little kids. Oh, and I'm rereading that Space Ghost and Johnny Quest team up, as well as the Herculoids. I have that in my queue to read. I debated over my mind if I'm gonna pick up the Blue Falcon and Dynamite one. I think it just came out this week, and it's kind of leaning towards no. Wasn't a big fan of him when he was in the cartoon show. What was it? It was Scooby-Doo. Was he a part of a Scooby-Doo show? The art is just sensational. And this is a series that Dynamite doesn't really go off in terms of variant covers. They only fill up one page up for variant covers, and there's basically just 4 different ones, and mixed in with the virgins and black and white ones, whatnot. But it's a great read. It's a great read. And I'm going to wrap this up in 2 minutes. So, here's a couple of the other issues. Number 10. Just want to see. There's Space Spectre is a villain that was introduced in the Space Stars TV series that Hanna-Barbera did in the late 70s or early 80s. When they they revived the concept for an hour-long show. And this guy was one of the new villains that was introduced in the show, and Space Spectre is revealed to be someone that we all know in the mythos, and I'm not going to blow it for you. But the trade paperback, I think volume 2 should be out, and find out who the Space Spectre really is. But these last 2 issues, this is the last 2 issues of volume 1, 11 to 12, and it restarts again with volume 2. So here, is it Brack? No, that's not Brack. This is gee whiz. No. What is this? Zorak, yeah. Okay, this is Zorak. Okay, here they all are. They're all lined up. You get was it the Creature King there? Black Widow. Metalis. Who's the melty guy? That's Brack. That's Brack right there. Yeah, I'm reading. I can remember the voice. Like he sounds like a guy from from the woods. Like he talks like that. And it's hard to picture that voice in your head while you're reading this new revamped version, because it doesn't come off as quite as stupid. Me and my half sister do that all the time with each other. So what else we got in here? Believe it or not, this series sort of ends on a cliffhanger, but it's continued in the Space Ghost Annual #1, which I'll be reading tonight. And Space Ghost is seriously injured by the team with it. They call themselves the Doom 5 or whatever they call themselves. I'm not sure. It's in the back of the book. This goes the Council of Doom. And the Council of Doom. There you go. The Space Ghost gets seriously injured in part 1 of this, and it starts off with Jan and Jay splitting up. They wanted to split from Space Ghost. Jan wants to enroll into this space science core thing, and Space Ghost gets wind of it, and he thinks that's an act of betrayal, and they have a big fight, and Jan and Jace is split from Ghost Planet and leaving Space Ghost vulnerable to the Council of Doom, and hilarity ensues. This is this is the main villain, Dr. Hander Eibel. He's a guy behind the scenes, and for some reason, Blip, the monkey, he's been kidnapped, and he has some kind of secret code or genetic code in him that's going to be powering up an augmented species or something like that. And that's why he sent the Council of Doom to Ghost Planet to get him, and they run afoul of Space Ghost, and Space Ghost gets injured, and he gets all bloody and stuff, and there lies. Blip is severely tortured at the end, and it ends with the cliffhanger that Space Ghost, having defeated the Council of Doom, must go and rescue Blip, and all that for a monkey, and that's what's going on. That's what's going on so far. Next week I'll be reading some Marvels, but I'll be picking up new stuff next week, and I'll probably be more excited talking about that, and maybe get a copy of the Marvel November catalog and the DC November catalog, and or in your Image if they have one, IDW if they have one. Who else? The freebie catalogs. So that's it, and have a great weekend. Ciao.